Italo's Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, hello. Good morning, or good evening, or good night, or good afternoon. I don't know. I don't know when you're going to listen to this show. So, this is Italo from Italo's Blog Talk Radio. Good morning. And I actually have my guest, Kelvin, is on the line right now. He's too blunt, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At times, yeah. Especially before coffee.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Don't talk to me right now. So, yeah. Good morning, and welcome to the show. This is going to be, we're getting close to the end of the series, and I'm talking about the Black Talk Radio series, where I'm talking to people one-on-one on their shows for the Fringe Festival. In particular, this one in particular is going to be premiering today. Oh my God, you're premiering today. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We
I didn't know.
we
I just looked
yeah.
at the date.
Our show's at it's at 8:30 p.m. Yeah, Pacific time. Yeah.
Right. So Kelvin is going to be ready today at 8:30. It's going to be at the LGBT Center here in Los Angeles on McCadden Place. If you need more information, below I'm putting the link to the show, and so you click there and you want to buy tickets. Is there still tickets available for today, or people can still get tickets?
Yeah, there's still some tickets available for today. Yes.
Okay. All right. So do it now, guys, because his show is going to be tonight, and there's going to be three more shows after today. So it's going to be the 16th. I mean, today is 6. Then we have the 16th. We have the 20th, the 22nd. Like I said, it's going to be the LGBT Center, which is actually pretty. It's looking pretty nice lately. I'm like, they're doing something there. What's going on?
It's pretty magical there. Yeah, it's just what's happening there, and it's ever growing, and just when we've been in rehearsals there, it's like it's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's why we're gonna have the party next week, right? You're gonna go to the party.
Oh yes. So the opening Fringe party, is going to be at the LGBT Center, and from what I heard last year, it was pretty magical. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, and just seeing all the other Fringers and seeing all the guests who are going to be there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Right. But let's get on to your show, because we're going to be talking about your solo performance today. Tell us about Too Blunt. Why do you well, your last name is Blunt already, but why do you name it Blunt? Too Blunt.
Yeah, it's for a few reasons. One, of course, being my last name, but also early in one of the drafts of my script, I improv something because I said something off color to the audience, and I said, "Ooh, that was too blunt." And then after probably the second draft, the show just became called Too Blunt. And also, I think in terms of like things that have happened, I think what people will see in the show, there have been things that have happened in my life. There was no warning for it. It just happened abruptly. It just happened bluntly. So it's that, and some of it is just my humor and observations about things that can be too blunt in the show. So that was what we decided on for the title. So.
Cool. So this is your first Fringe?
This is my first Fringe doing a solo show or a show that I produce. I've been an actor in a Fringe show before. A few years ago, I was in Robert Long's There Are Monsters, which was great. We played at the Complex Theater. But this is my first one where I'm putting it on myself. Yeah.
That's your first solo. Okay. So it's so tell us what's the kind of like the story. What's the background behind your show today?
So the epicenter of the show is talking about my weight loss and weight gains over the years. I was overweight as a child. Sadly, we see a lot more kids who are overweight or obese, but back in the 70s, 80s, it wasn't as common. So I'm talking about what that life was like, gaining weight and then losing the weight, because I ended up losing 100 pounds over this past, I guess, 7 years or so, naturally. And I talk about in the show what could have contributed, or what may have been the factors that led to the weight gain. And so it starts out with the weight loss and weight gain, and then it talks about the factors or the things that are going on in life that might be contributing to, I guess, any sort of health challenges that we experience. And so it veered off from the weight, and it also then discussed me both being African American and gay, and what that life is like in terms of the intersectionality of that as it pertains to America. And then it just veered off then into childhood crushes and childhood fantasies and heroes, and also dating and interracial dating. So it sort of all veered from that centerpiece of what contributes to our mental and our physical health, and then it sort of morphed into comical and not so comical interactions with people. So that's pretty much the basis of the show. And it's autobiographical. I wrote it and producing it and all that fun stuff. So.
Actually, I was talking to another stranger, and his show is actually called Food for All. And right now I forget the name of the actor, but he started also with the problem with his weight and his health issues and everything. And I think he lost 120 pounds and all that. So
wow.
His show sounds very interesting as well. And he went also, well, he had to go to a doctor or a dietitian and all that. But he hit rock bottom at one point, and he ended up, I think, in the hospital, or I don't know what happened. But there was that moment where he had to realize it was more than just an appearance issue. It was more like a health issue. So he became serious, and I mean, and I also struggle with my weight. I also struggle with that, and my body, accepting my body the way it is. Many people don't. I didn't accept my body for a long time because I was skinny. I was the opposite of you. I was skinny growing up, and I didn't have anything. I didn't even think about my weight, growing up. And then I got to here to where I'm at right now, and now anyways, it's a long story, but I had to come to a point where I was.
It speaks a lot though to it speaks a lot to what a lot of people experience, and a lot more people are experiencing it, and that's one of the things I mentioned in the show is from even when I was growing up to what Americans are experiencing now in terms of weight issues. It's actually become an epidemic that we don't talk about. Like I mentioned in the show that 70% of Americans are now considered overweight or obese, So it's not even an uncommon thing anymore. So your experience is I think it's now the common experience that you have, that I've had. It's the norm at this point now, yeah.
Right. But it's also what lies underneath, because it's not the fact that you're gaining weight and all that. It's what's underneath all of that. And what I went through as well, and I also had to deal with my sexuality and my orientation, and I was not sure if whether I was gay or straight, or I knew it was gay, but at the time I didn't know it, and I was struggling with that because of my upbringing and what are they going to say, and my Catholic parents and the whole thing. And so I think that's what was going on in my head. And I wasn't, I guess I was self-hating. I don't know. Maybe I didn't want to see what I wanted to see in the mirror. Maybe I didn't like what I saw in the mirror because everybody was telling me you have to be a certain way, and I I was not. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, a
I
lot
think
of people around me when I was, particularly when I was a kid, starting to gain weight, because there was a period, and I talk in the show, where there were just all of these traumatic things that were going on between probably the ages of 7 and 11 that were going on, and around this time is where I really started gaining weight, and people around me, uh again, this is the 70s and 80s, they were saying, well, you just need to lose weight, you just need to lose it, and they didn't say how, and of course then it made me feel more guilty, because I'm like, okay, this is my fault, this is my doing, and yeah, to your point, there I know it now, but I didn't know then there was something underlying in terms of, the self-hating then becomes self-medicating, and in the context of my experience, the self-medicating was through food. Yeah.
right, right. I mean, in this culture too. I'm talking about the gay culture. When you come to start dating, or you want to go out and meet people, and they're so self-conscious, they're so body conscious, I should say. Um, and there was a point where, and it was years after I went out, to the bars and all that, and I stopped going. And so when I went back to West Hollywood one day, and I was just observing people, I was like, wow, everybody's so, preoccupied for their body image, instead of looking within, or looking to get somebody that's more compatible, in the sense that it's not just physical. And I was like, this is interesting. Tell me what's yeah, because I haven't been out dating for a while, and I already have a partner, but it must be so stressful nowadays, because of all the apps and all
Yeah.
that.
And I think that adds it's the apps, and it's also, I mean, we're even more of a looksism culture, because now we have Instagram, and now we have Facebook, and people posting pictures of themselves, and we're seeing these supermodels and people from here and around the world who look good and all that stuff, and of course we invariably put ourselves up against these people who are, spending countless hours in the gym, and personal trainers and nutritionists and all that fun stuff, and making ourselves, And I think with regards to the gay population, it's the apps. I think the apps have made it a less connected population that we have as gays, because a lot of our interactions with each other, probably more of our interactions with each other are now via apps or online than in person. So then when we get in person with each other, there's this, oh yeah, we're human. Oh, okay, we can talk to each other. We can just sort of show our vulnerabilities, but you have to weed through a lot of masks to get to that place. And I mentioned that too in the show, how even if it's a gay bar, a lot of gay bars are closing because of gentrification and rises in leasing and stuff like that, and so now we even have fewer gay bars and safe places for us to be with one another. So that's one of the other challenges that we're facing.
Hmm. Yeah, because I used to hang out at the arena and circus back in the day.
Oh yeah.
That was such a big crowd, and now we all had to had to go elsewhere. And I don't necessarily like West Hollywood, so that was my place to go, because it wasn't about body image much. It was more of a just have fun, dancing. It was more, it was more about just enjoying yourself, enjoying having fun with your friends or yourself, or look for somebody. But it's a different call. It's a different. I don't know how to explain it. It's different feel. The feel of the community in West Hollywood is different than, let's say, North Hollywood, or if you go to Pomona, or if you go to Long Beach. It's
your
different.
Palm Springs,
I don't know how to say
yeah.
it. Palm Springs is way different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
But,
I love Long Beach. Yeah, Long Beach is gay culture is it. I think in terms of who I am and what I like and I guess the values I have and that sort of thing. I actually like what Long Beach has. It's a lot more inclusive. It's not just twinks and thin guys. It's guys of varying sizes and races and ethnicities and ages. And so, yeah, that's of course, that's a sort of a microcosm of the world. Is like, yeah, there's people different sizes, different races, different walks of life. And so, yeah, I'm grateful that we have a West Hollywood. But yeah, I don't know if I've always felt like, I haven't always felt not so much welcome, but just at ease, and because it's just so heightened
I always feel
there,
self-conscious. I always feel self-conscious. I always have to tuck my stomach and I have to like, ooh, does this look good to me? I always have to check myself in the mirror. I'm like, okay, am I looking okay? But no, and actually, I have an experience where I went to a cruise, a gay cruise, for the first time, and last time actually, after that one. So it was just so strange to me how we were all in the same boat, trapped in the boat. To me, it was a trapment. Like I felt like I couldn't be myself, and everybody kept asking us, "Are you married? Are you not married? Are you bottom? Are you top? Are you this? Are you that?" They were so inquisitive, and so I just felt like I had to get out away from there, go to the room, lock myself in the room. I'm like, I don't want to be. I had to be in the closet. That's what I actually wrote during the trip. I felt like everybody was too much, too blunt for me. I'm like,
too blunt,
dude. Like, leave me alone for a minute. Like it was. I guess I wasn't in the. I didn't realize what was happening with me as well in my relationship at the time. But very strange being in a gay cruise. And me being a gay man, I felt like I was like, ooh, I feel violated, kind of, my privacy, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of the things is we. Sometimes I feel like we, as gays, when we're in those situations, because we're still in a place where we're healing, from living in this sort of heterosexist society. So I think sometimes we sort of run into each other's trauma, and I think one of the ways that we bring that on is through our intense body image and how sexual it can be. Yeah, like because I went to the white party. This was years ago. It was probably about 17, 18 years ago, and it was exactly as you were describing. It was like, oh my gosh, it's so intense, it's so everything. And I was with one of my friends, and I was like, can we go? We can go, right? I mean, we've stayed long enough. Can we go? And he was like, we've been waiting on this for all year, because some guys, especially what they call, the circuit guys, they look forward to that. They work out for weeks leading up to it. It's like they're, I don't know, they're Disneyland or whatever. And me, I'm going, okay, I've had enough. I've had enough of this.
Yeah, it's not funny. Like, you would think that we're, more. Well, I mean, I am open. I'm open-minded. You know what I mean? So it wasn't that. It was just like, no, I don't think I have to do all that. I don't think I have to do that in the jacuzzi. I don't think I have to go to that party where I think this is going to happen. I don't have to go to they call it the dig deck. And I'm like, what's going on the dig deck? Oh, really? Okay, I don't have to go there then. Okay. Now, I just felt so like, oh my goodness, where can I go and be myself? It was like, anyways, long story short, it was not a good experience for me.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be.
But
for
yeah,
me either,
if you're up for it, yeah. But let me actually talk to you about your upbringing, because you were saying here that you came from well, obviously you're African American, growing up in the 70s and in Missouri. I don't know what it's like in Missouri. That's where you grew up, right?
Yeah. Grew up in Missouri, Kansas City. Yeah. And
right.
it was. I mean, definitely very conservative. My family was religious. My mother, very religious. She was a gospel singer. She sang in the choir. She sang with other gospel artists. So there was that, and I mean, otherwise it was for in many ways it was idyllic, but it was me being gay growing up in it. So I think that's what made it so intense for me, and being deeply closeted at that time too. And I didn't come out to my mother until I was 23. I came out to my mother's when I was 23, and then I came out to my two older brothers maybe about a year or so later. Because it was definitely conservative. It was definitely heterosexist, and of course, when we see today that some gay kids, teens, but they still have very limited social events and ways that they can be with one another, and of course, they still face harassment. But yeah, for me, it was just, yeah, I was just sort of. It's funny because there's a scene in the show where, or it's actually a video that David Hafferty and I created that basically deals with like my early crushes and that sort of thing. But I was actually just not sexual growing up. I was just so enclosed and so, and I think part of that was body issues and also just being deeply closeted. It was just, yeah, it just kind of left me sort of stunted. It stunted my growth in a lot of ways. And I had to play catch up, and I think too. I think as a result, as you were talking about these overly sexualized environments, it's
Right.
me being open, but also it's like, okay, that's definitely not how I grew up. that would not
Right.
fly, straight or gay, that wouldn't fly. Yeah, so because it was
Yeah.
definitely very conservative.
Because yeah, I mean, even though I guess if you think about a gay person, and you would think that they're liberals and they're open-minded and they're just wild, and it's not. No, it's not, because we are so different, and just like um, heterosexual community, there's we have the bisexual community, transgender community. We're so different, between us, between the LGBT community. And I was kidding one day, and I was like, it should be LGBTQS, because we have the straight people. You should all be included. You know what I mean? Like, we have a
Hmm.
sexual orientation, and within that realm of orientation, we have so many layers. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and it should be H at the end for human, because it's a human experience. Why can just we all? I don't want to get along, but just basically not don't categorize yourself into a box, because
Right.
I you know what I mean. Like, when you're growing up, you may think you're one way, you end up with another mindset at the end, and but later you may change it to you may say, I want to be bisexual now. Let me see how that goes. It's not really set in stone. So that's what I'm trying to say. That
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
so
I
many
mean,
things
that's
you can
yeah.
do. Hmm.
Well, yeah, and I think that's yeah. I mean, that sense of fluidity that a lot of people experience, and do they feel that they can fully express that when it comes up in them, or oh, they think I'm this, so I should just stay this, or I know that there have been times where amongst some gay men, they will get upset with one of their friends who starts dating a woman or is starting to see a woman or something like that, and it doesn't fit into
Hmm.
their box for their friend, but that's what their friend wants to do, and that's where their friend is, and
Right.
and yeah, I think that's one of the traps for I think people within any marginalized population, because my thing is the dominant populations are going to put you in a box, so why put yourself in a box too? And I think that's what we as gays have done many times. Okay, you're a bear. Okay, you're a twink. Okay, you're an otter, and
I hear that.
and like you were saying, oh, you're top. Oh, you're bottom, and yeah, there's just all these ways that we keep
Yeah.
sectioning each other off, and it just becomes more divisive than inclusive.
Correct. Yeah, and I have people come to me and say, "So are you the man in the relationship or the woman in the relationship?" I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
That is,
People still
oh my
say that.
goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have to step back and say, okay, let me understand where they're coming from because, but then I have to clarify, like, no, let me explain to you how it is because sometimes it's just ignorance. Like you haven't probably encountered a gay man or woman or lesbian and whatever, so you don't know how to say it. But I had to like hold on a second. Let me explain something. It's not about being man or woman in a relationship. That's just not. I'm just a man.
Yeah.
I identify myself as a. So it's like okay, and I think I know where you're trying to go with this, and that's also very personal because I just met you, or you're just talking about sexuality, and I don't go around asking straight people, are you top or bottom? Are you what is your position in bed? And that's
Right.
people don't realize how personal that is and how intrusive that is.
Yeah, and how they don't get those questions themselves. So they're basically
Right.
giving to you what they wouldn't even allow other people to ask them, and even
Mm-hmm.
within non-gay relationships, it's less conventional or traditional in that sense of, oh, okay, the man does this, the woman that. I mean, in many households, more and more households, women are the breadwinner, and then how that plays into
Mm-hmm.
the traditional roles that each gender plays in the relationship. So it's actually, even when someone asks you that, they're not even realizing that even amongst non-gays in their relationships, those roles are sort of becoming more and more obsolete.
Right. Yeah, it's like you don't come up to a person and say, so when do you realize you were straight?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love. There was an interview. There was an interview that Tom Hanks did. This was when he did that movie Philadelphia, and he was saying that same thing. He said, I don't get it. I wasn't 15 years old and saying, oh, okay, I think I am straight, or am I, or what?
Yeah.
He wasn't thinking about. It was just something that he said he knew and he felt, and yeah. So I think there's just a way that when people are talking, they don't hear themselves, and
Right.
we have to sort of educate them, and we shouldn't have to, but we end up doing that, and then that becomes work
Mm-hmm.
too.
Right. So what is your what is your audience? What are you looking forward to having the audience take away from your show? Once they see your show, do you want to have straight people come, gay people come, anybody? You know what I mean?
Yeah, really anybody. I mean, it's interesting because it's a show that's partially discussing me being both black and gay, and then it's also at the Davis and Valentini Theater at the LGBT Center, and so it's definitely inclusive though. It's definitely inclusive. I mean, that's the show that they're gonna get when they see it. Is like, yeah, you're walking into a
Yeah.
show. I mean, it's the subtitle of the show is Confessions of a Black Gay Child. So if you're down with it, come on in.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Right.
And I think it's really what we're discussing is the 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 stereotyping and the profiling that we put on people from different populations or different communities, and how those
Mm-hmm.
those stereotypes, they just don't stand. I think the stereotype is even usually the exception rather than the rule. And I think, yeah, one of the things that, in terms of what I wrote and what we're doing in the show, is basically to hold a mirror up to nature and say to the audience, okay, this is how we view each other and this is how we treat each other. Do we really want to continue to treat each other like this? Especially when you realize that you being you isolating a gay man by saying, oh, are you the man or the woman in a relationship? It's a very isolating experience, and it also it triggers trauma, and then you're going home that night and you're going, gosh, that was really horrible, and that then is on your mind, as opposed to, oh, it was fun to go out and it was fun to be with friends. You're thinking about that one incident. So it's really for the audience. It's really again holding a mirror up to nature for them and saying, is this who we want to be? And I think also too, it's a very fun show. It's a very irreverent show, and it's also sort of a paying homage to my childhood and to my wonderful mother and yeah, childhood heroes. Like there's I mentioned Janet Jackson because I'm a huge Janet Jackson fan, and so I hope for the audience it's a celebration of us despite our challenges, despite roadblocks in our lives, that we can still love ourselves and we can still approve of ourselves for being in the world. So yeah, so that's definitely what I would what I would love the audience to take away.
Cool. So yeah, it's this again. The show is called Too Blunt, and this is gonna happen tonight, guys. Wow, it's preview week. I just can't believe it. Like I'm still like, it is preview week, isn't it? And I just felt it yesterday when I was at the last office hours last night. And it hit me, and I'm like, I am exhausted.
Wow.
I am tired.
Yeah, it's heightened. It's heightened. So yeah, get as much rest as possible because it's we've only started the marathon of this month.
Right? Oh my goodness. But I'm ready. I think you're ready too because you just are rehearsing last night and. Yeah, and I wish you nothing but good luck. Not good luck, because my boyfriend says, don't say good luck. Don't wish me good luck, is what he says. Because it's nothing. It's not about luck, anyways. It's you got it. That's basically what I'm saying. And so so those are interested. Go ahead, click below. Is there any way they can follow you on social media, or do you want them to follow you on social media?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes. I'm on Instagram, so it's at Kelvin Blunt. And, yeah, you can find me there. You can find me on Twitter. I think my Twitter handle is also at Kelvin Blunt. And, yeah, I'll be sharing more about the show as we progress and other wild and crazy goings-on in my life. So, yeah, they can follow me at one of those places, definitely.
All right, awesome. So once again, this is preview week, guys. This is it.
We made it.
A long journey, right? We made it so far. So yeah, this is actually awesome because I love this time of year. You just don't realize how much you work. I don't realize how much I work, even though I'm not even in a show. Well, kind of I am, but I'm co-producing a show. But at the end of the day, you're wearing so many hats and you're doing so many things, and then you're working at the same time, and then you're trying to do the radio show in the mornings, and I'm like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? But actually, it's been a lovely experience, to be honest, having this radio show for the Fringe Festival.
Yeah,
I learn
we're grateful
every day
you do it.
something new. I learn so many things from every single interview. I love it. It's just amazing to you know what I mean, like get to know the people that you're gonna see on stage. It's just a great experience for me. So that's what I'm saying. Come and see the shows. You already heard them on my Blog Talk, and I think every show is amazing. To be honest, everybody has worked so hard, and so you have to just come support us. Don't come to see one show because I hate that people don't know that there's a festival. There's 400 shows, so it's like it's not just one person. It's an ocean, a sea of shows that are happening, and like we said, it's going to be part of the festival. LGBT community or LGBT center will be where the party will be at next week. If you want to come and say hello, if you're a theater lover, you can just get one of these buttons. I think it's only $3. You can just get in. You can get discounts with that button. You can buy shows with that button and get discounts. So it pays off at the end. And come say hello. Come experience the festival. And what else? I want to say. Oh, like my Facebook page because I'm putting. This will be my last week of doing shows. So from here until Sunday, that's it. I'm not doing no more. I have to work. But yeah, thank you, Kelvin, for calling and for being so blunt today. Um,
Thank you. No, thank you for offering this channel for us fellow fringers to, share our shows and just talk and just sort of share our collective exhaustion and just the hard work and the artistry and so thank you for allowing us to have this.
I know, and that's funny. Collective exhaustion, just exhausted. But yeah, we're working hard for this, right? Again, thank you for calling. We're gonna take it out with one of my own productions. Actually, it's not my production. It's me and my boyfriend. We came up with this song. It's called "Didn't See That Coming." As you didn't see Kelvin coming with this show. But yeah, it's been great, guys. And thanks for listening. And please share this page or tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your gay and straight for friends to come over and see the show. And here we take it with Didn't See That Coming.
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30. Hit the record button.